What is up, guys? This is the Epic Gamer Boy here, and today we're going to be doing a full device collection video of October 2024. So without further ado, let's get started with this. By the way, this collection is going to be mainly devices that I own. We're not going to do like any like accessories and stuff like cases, the box and stuff that it came with, etc. It's just going to be devices only. And my collection has actually been growing a lot since the last time I made a device collection videos. So yeah, it's gonna include all my phones, my iPhones, Android phones, iPods, and my iPads, and my laptops. Even though I don't have very many laptops, just a few that I use. So let's get started. So first up, we have the iPhone 3G, 8 GB. I got black, fully working. I got this untested. I got this on Macquarie for only $3 because it was untested, but I got very lucky that it actually works. And the cool thing about this one is that it has like a bunch of music and stuff on it that I absolutely like. So this is a very lucky. This is a very lucky find for untested. You know, by the way, untested means the device either may work or may not work, and I got lucky with this. So yeah, it's very nice. Only thing about this one is that it's missing the SIM card slot, but it still works fine overall. Next up, we have the white iPhone 3G. This phone here, the 16 GB, works fully good with no issues besides an iffy mute switch that I noticed. But also has a bunch of like old stuff, but also has a bunch of apps and music on it. Next up, we have a iPhone 3GS. Now this phone here, I actually remember I found this in the Target bin all the way back early last year, and it originally had a swollen battery because this phone was from a bin, but my friend like replaced the battery on it for me, and now it's fully working. And I have my and I was able to put my stuff on it before the iOS 6 and below servers shut down. So yeah, very nice phone to have. Next up, we have another iPhone 3GS. This phone here is also 16 GB. Now, this phone, I got it as an untested phone recently, and it does have like a bunch of issues where like the backlight on this thing is dead. The battery on this thing does not hold the charge, and it's like on the iOS, I don't know, 4 or 5 setup screen looking thing, and whenever I unplug it from the charger, it would just like die. So that sucks for this phone because I got it untested, and it actually does happen, so I can't really complain for it. Next up, we have is a iPhone 4 CDMA, 8 GB. Now the reason why this one's in this case is because this one's actually in absolutely mint condition because I got this one with a box. I think I got this one from one of my dad's friends like back in 2022 because this one's like in very mint condition, and it was from a case, and it was originally on iOS 6, but I updated because I didn't. But iOS 6 isn't even rare anyway, so it fully works. And has a bunch of my stuff on it. Next up, we have another iPhone 4. Now this one's GSM. I believe this one's 16 GB. Works fully good with no issues. Oh wait. I can't remember. Oh wait, I think this one here looks like it was from, I found this in Target last year in the Target bin. Next up, we have another iPhone 4 GSM model. Now this one's actually 8 GB. I think this phone here I got it last year with for my friend in like a trade with a bunch of like other iPhone 4s and 4Ss that are for smashing and stuff. And wow, I had this phone since early 2022 because I got this in a trade from my friend with a bunch of like iPhone 4s and 4Ss that are like for smashing and stuff. And this one actually fully works with no issues. Next up, we have a CDMA black iPhone 4. Works fully good with no issues. I think I got this on Macquarie like last year or something. Next up we have is another iPhone 4. I believe this one's CDMA. CDMA 8 GB, I think. I think I had this. I'm not sure where I kind of forgot where I got it, but it fully works. By the way, all these iPhone 4s are all on iOS 7, so yeah. So yeah, I used to like always tend to like update devices a lot. So I mean, but if it's but if I update the iPhone 4 from like iOS 6.1.3 to iOS 7.1.2, then it's just iOS 7 doesn't feel iOS 6 doesn't feel rare at all. So yeah. But this iPhone 4 here works. Next up we have is another GSM iPhone 4 now. This one actually was from a untested phone lot recently, and this one actually turned out to be working, and yeah, this one's 8 GB. Next up we have is a CDMA iPhone 4. Fully works with no issues. Oh wait, I think this one was from my untested phone lot recently as well, that I remember. So yeah, it fully works with no issues. This one. Next up we have is a iPhone 4S. I believe this one's 32 GB. Works fully good with no issues. Next up we have is another iPhone 4S, 16 GB. Works fully good with no issues. Oh yeah, I think this 4S and this 4S here were like my main 4Ss. And then this one here. This 4S here, I got it like a couple of months ago, cause this phone was originally on like iOS 8.3, and I just bought it anyways because I thought it was cool. But it has a stuck power button because I got this phone for only like $8, and unfortunately I had to restore this phone to like iOS 9.3.6 because one time this phone froze on me like crazy, and that sucks because I mainly bought this phone because it was on iOS 8.3. Next up we have is a iPhone 5 16 GB wide in a nice blue OtterBox case. I don't know why, but did my camera just go blurry on me for a sec? I'm very sorry that it did. Anyway, so this iPhone 5 here, 16 GB wide, works fully good with no issues. Next up we have is another iPhone 5, slate black, 16 GB, works fully good with no issues, and yeah. Next up we have is another iPhone 5. Now this one was a phone I got recently. This one is a demo unit phone, demo unit iPhone 5. It's in very mint condition, and I also got it with the box, and yeah, very mint condition looking. Also, this iPhone 5 here is a demo unit phone, which is actually very cool actually. But yeah, it works fully good with no issues and has demo software on it, which is really nice. Next up we have is a iPhone 5C, 32 GB wide, works fully good with no issues. Oh yeah, so by the way, if I can remember for these, this one was on Macari like a couple months ago. These two, I think my main 4Ss, I got them like a long time ago or something, and these two were also like from a long time ago, but the demo unit iPhone 5 was from the Target bin recently, and yeah. So this white 5C, I think I got it a long time ago. And yeah. Next up we have the pink iPhone 5C. Works fully good with no issues. It has like it has like case mark here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has like maybe like this. You can see case. It has some like case marking. Yeah, overall very cool phone. Next up, we have the yellow iPhone 5C. Now this phone was actually a housing swap because this phone used to be white, but I then got like two white 5Cs to. I then got two white 5Cs and then like I sent one of them to like my friend to like replace the housing cause I want to have like a yellow 5C. So yeah. Next up, we have the blue iPhone 5C in this nice blue looking case. It works fully good with no issues, and yeah. Next up, we have a iPhone 5S, 16 gigabyte silver. Works fully good with no issues. I haven't really used this phone so much since 2022. But yeah, it works. By the way, some of these phones in my collection, I had them since like 2022. I had them since like 2022, like like my 5Cs, this 5S. Next up, we have another iPhone 5S. Now this one here is 32 gigabyte. I did have another 32 gigabyte iPhone 5S, but I actually sold it because I kind of had too many 5Ss in my collection, and yeah. Next up, we have another iPhone 5S. Now this one here is 64 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. Now these are like the iPhone 5Ss I want to keep for my collection because the 64 gigabyte one's my main 5S, and then these two are just on my spare 5Ss, but I just like keep them because they're cool, and this one I keep them because it's silver, and when I had a bunch of 5Ss, a lot of them were like space gray ones, but yeah, they're still cool. Next up, we have an iPhone SE first gen, 64 gigabyte. Okay, now we're getting to like the place where I would try to tell you guys the battery health on these, so I don't want to risk turning all of them on just for like my personal information to spam like crazy. So yeah, works. So yeah, this is an iPhone SE first gen. Works fully good with no issues. I also had this since 2022. Now the battery health on this one is 83, and it's a 64 gigabyte. I think I said it already. Next up, we have a iPhone SE first gen, 64 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. I'm sorry if my camera keeps going in and out of focus, but hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, this is rose gold, 64 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Battery health is also 83, if I could remember. Next up, we have a iPhone 7, product red, 128 gigabyte. Now this is one of my favorite phones in my collection. It works fully good with no issues. The battery health on this thing is 100%. Fun fact, I got this phone on Macquarie for only $39 because the battery ordering said it like drains fast on here. But when I received the phone, everything was like working pretty good. I think the only thing about this phone is that whenever I'm not using it, it always goes stone dead, which may think, I don't know if the board got bad or not, because I remember it also happened for like my 7 Plus, but I later then got a replacement by getting another 7 Plus. So yeah, but yeah, I think besides the board being bad, the phone itself seemed to work fully good. Next up, we have a iPhone 8. Now this phone's actually getting very special to my collection because this phone, I had it since July of 2021. And wow, I had this phone for over 3 years now. That's amazing. But yeah, this device works fully good with no issues. And the battery health on this thing is at 78. But it's still special because of how long I had it. Works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have another iPhone 8. Now this phone, I found it in the Target bin all the way back in like March of this year when I came back from China. And this phone, Now this phone is unfortunately this one unfortunately is blacklisted. It does work and I can still like put my stuff on it and everything, but this one is unfortunately blacklisted and has a bad ESN. So it can't be activated or used out of phone. So that kind of sucks for this phone, but you can still use it for like to put like stuff on it or watch YouTube and stuff. But yeah, this phone's 64 GB, and the battery health on this is actually 87. When I originally got this phone, it had a cracked aftermarket screen and a bad digitizer, and several months later, I was actually able to fix it myself by buying a iCloud locked one, which is the next phone. The next phone here is another iPhone 8. Now this phone is iCloud locked, and I actually bought this phone to use it to fix this phone here. I kind of forgot to transfer the home button because I saw the home button. Oh yeah, I put the whole thing on instead of moving the home button. I think I must have ripped the home button when I was trying to take the original screen off of this phone. So yeah. So yeah. So this phone here was actually used to fix this phone. So it's just gonna be sitting like this. It's just gonna be sitting like this forever actually, and because this phone is iCloud locked, and yeah. But I will still sell this for parts still. Next up we have is a iPhone 6 Plus. Now this phone is very special because this phone is a Chinese model iPhone 6 Plus. Unfortunately it's only 16 GB, but it's still pretty cool that it's a Chinese model. So yeah. Battery health on this is 88. And it works fully good with no issues. This phone here was actually my grandpa's old phone, and it's nice that I have it since it's a Chinese model. It's also in like very mint condition as well. Next up we have is a iPhone 6s Plus. This device works fully good with no issues, and I like the case. I got this on Mercari like early last year, 2023. I think I traded it to my friend and he traded it back to me, and it's nice. It's actually another one of my favorite phones in my collection because this one has 100% battery health, and the battery on this thing seems to be lasting decent than like the other 6s Pluses I had. So yeah. Next up we have is a iPhone 7 Plus, product red, 128 GB. Works fully good with no issues now, and the battery health is 89. Next up we have is a iPhone 8 Plus. Oh yeah, this one I got this phone back in like I got it back in like 2023 last year, and this one was actually a replacement to replace my old 8 Plus because my old 8 Plus broke again and I don't feel like talking about it, so yeah. And it has this nice pop socket case. Fun fact, the case on this was from Five Below, and the pop socket was actually from Target because I did shop at Target when I didn't find didn't find anything good in the bin, so yeah. Next up we have also the battery health on this is 83. I think I remember the battery health on my old one was also 83, the one that I had in 2020. Yeah. Next up we have an iPhone XR, works fully good with no issues. 128 GB, and the battery health is 79. I originally had a cracked back, but my friend replaced it for me, so that's nice. Next up we have is the iPhone 11 Pro, 512 GB. This is actually my first 512 GB phone. Gold. Works fully good with no issues. Battery health is 89. No, 95 for this. Wait, what am I talking about? So, so 100, 89, 83, 79, and this is 95. I actually did main this phone while I was in China, and it's actually very nice. Such a nice phone. Oh, you might. Oh yeah, the Apple sticker here does have a chip because I think this case has actually been through a lot. I think. maybe once this part somehow peels off over times, I'll try to get a new Apple sticker and replace it for here. And yeah. And next up, we have is a iPhone 14, yellow, 128GB. Works fully good with no issues in this nice butterfly looking case. And I believe it still has 100% battery health because I got this phone brand new and I got this phone like brand new. And yeah. And the phone that I'm recording on is an iPhone 13 Pro 256GB with 89% battery health. I still made my 13 Pro because I'm still kind of used to like having my SIM card instead of like using eSIM. I mean, I could set up eSIM on my 14, but I just didn't have the time to. So yeah, let's move on to like the next set of devices. All right, guys, so we're on to like the next set of devices now. My 13 Pros got low on charge, and now I'm recording on my iPhone 11 Pro, so yeah. So without further ado, let's get started. So first up here we have the Galaxy S3. I believe it's the blue color. But yeah, it works fully good with no issues. 16GB. Next up we have the Galaxy S5, 16GB, works fully good with no issues. Next up we have is a Galaxy S6, 32GB, works fully good with no issues. And now this is Verizon, Sprint. And next up we have the Galaxy S7. I had this phone since 2022, since late 2022, and it's nice. It works fully good with no issues. 32GB. By the way, this phone's actually unlocked since there's no carrier or anything shown when it's booted. Next up, we have the Galaxy Note 3. It works fully good with no issues. 32GB. Next up, we have the Galaxy Exhibit. Works fully good with no issues. Now, this phone's only 4GB. Wow. 4GB on this phone. Imagine if 4GB was on modern Android phones, it would be extremely pain to use. Okay, next over the Galaxy Central. This one's also 4GB. Wow. Next up, we have the Moto G first gen. Works fully good with no issues. One thing about the Galaxy Exhibit and the Galaxy Central is that I feel like that they are also slow anyways to use. Next up we have is this LG phone. I got this from my untested lot and I can't really test it because it has no battery. I hope to get a battery for this phone someday. But yeah, there are some, I think there are like some, oh wait, this phone has a bit of damage here. I don't know. But yeah, it just needs a battery in order to work. Next up, we have is a LG Stylo 1. I actually found a bunch of this in the Target bin last year, and I found one of this like this year. Now this phone has no battery. It also needs a battery in order to work. And yeah, next up we have a Xiaomi or Redmi phone. This phone here was my grandma's old phone. It works fully good with no issues. Yeah. It's actually a cool phone. Oh yeah, I actually did use this phone recently because I was like putting like my stuff on it. Oh, I forgot I put my whatever. I don't know. I just put like my SD card in. That's to put some music to put some music for this devices. Next up, we have a Moto X4. Works fully good with no issues and it's in very mint condition. Next up, we have the Moto G Power 2021. I found this recently in the Target bin a few days ago. It works fully good with no issues now. when I reset this phone, it did get carrier locked, and I had to watch a YouTube video on how to bypass this phone, and I managed to do it. But if I reset it again, it'll become locked again. So that's something. Oh yeah, this phone was on. Next up, we have is a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. This is like my main Android phone here. I'm kind of using this as my main Android phone here because it's nice. And yeah. Because it's nice, and yeah. Also, this phone, I forgot to mention that this phone did have a stolen battery. So yeah, this phone just needs a new battery and it'll be perfect. And then now moving on to here. The reason why this iPhone 4 here is because, so this iPhone 4 here is actually iCloud locked, and yeah. And yeah, kind of sucks, but I don't really care since I have so much iPhone 4s already. So I already have so many iPhone 4s already. But yeah, this phone's here because it's iCloud locked. Next up, we have is a, oh yeah, this is one of my grandma's old phone. I think it needs a battery in order for it to work, but since it's kind of a Chinese looking dumb phone or something, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find a new battery for this for it to work. Next up, it was a Nokia phone. Now this one was also my untested lot. Fun fact, I got this phone with this LG for only $2. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this, but I was expecting like one of them could work until I realized that I don't have the right charger for this, and this one has no battery, so that's unfortunate. Next up, we have is this Nokia phone now. Oh yeah, from the condition, this here was my uncle's old phone, and I think when I was when I was bringing this back from China, like it got severely scratched through like the buttons here and everything, and yeah. Next up we have is this phone. This phone out here I found it recently in the Target bin, and it actually turns out to be working. I was able to charge it up and it works. I had one of this phone last year, but I smashed it, but it's nice to have one of this phone again. And then we have this phone, this Metro PCS phone. It works. And then we got this flip phone, which was also one of my grandparents' old flip phone. It worked. It just needs a battery for them to work. So yeah. Now iPods. Okay, so here are my iPods and watches. So first off, we have the iPod Touch first gen with a very scratched up engraving, which is why I put Miku here. I wrote Miku and just taped it here. But it works with no issues. It just has like the power button, you have to press like a little harder on it for it to work. Next up, we have another iPod Touch first gen. Now this iPod on here actually has like a bunch of old apps on here, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have the iPod Touch second gen. Works really good with no issues, 8 GB. By the way, this one's 16 GB, 8 GB for the first gen. Next up, we have another iPod Touch second gen in this like rubbery looking case. Works fully good with no issues. And then we have this iPod Touch second gen, which is 32 GB. Works fully good with no issues. What else? Next up, we have the iPod Touch fourth gen, 16 GB. I believe this one has dead pixels on the screen. Oh yeah. Oh wait, I think if I could remember, this one was from my friend, the Gray Gamer, and I think a lot of these are from like, and then these second gens, including this, was from, I believe, a phone lot. Now, but this one here was actually from a Target. But this iPod Touch 4th gen was actually from a Target bin last year. It works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have another iPod Touch 4th gen, 32 GB, black. Works fully good with no issues. Now this one has like a bunch of like stuff apps on it as well. And then we have this iPod Touch 4th Gen. Now this one here was actually my main iPod Touch 4th Gen. I like the white color on this. It is very nice looking. But yeah, works fully good with no issues. This one here has dead pixels on the screen. The 16 gigabyte one. Next up we have an iPod Touch 5th Gen, 64 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. Next up we have an iPod Touch 6th Gen. Pink 16 gigabyte. I bought this because I like the pink color, and it's actually very nice looking. And then we have a blue iPod Touch 6th Gen. By the way, this is 6th Gen. It works fully good with no issues. And also in good mint condition. And then we have the last iPod has ever made, the iPod Touch 7th generation. 32 gigabyte gold. Oh wait, this one's 32 gigabyte, this one's 16 gigabyte. Just to correct myself. So yeah, works fully good with no issues. I'm glad I had this thing because you can't get a brand new iPod Touch anymore because Apple discontinued 7th gen and stopped making iPods. And now for watches we have okay, it's still okay. First up we have an Apple Watch Series SC 1st gen. It works fully good with no issues. It's still in like mint condition, and this is 40 millimeters. And then we have, this is like a fake Apple Watch looking. Now this one's from a claw machine thing that I was playing in China. This is a Minecraft watch. Nice looking. And then this was also from a claw machine, and yeah. By the way, these are not Apple Watches. This is a Minecraft looking watch, and these two are watches I got from like a claw machine from when I was in China. Okay, now we're gonna move on to like the iPads. Okay, here we are onto the iPad. So first up, we have the iPad 2, 16 gigabyte. Oh my god, it's already 6 a.m. already. 16 gigabyte, black, works fully good with no issues. By the way, I actually downgraded this to iOS 8.4.1. Here we have another iPad 2, white, 16 gigabyte. I also downgraded this to 8.4.1. Next up, we have another iPad 2. So this one here is iCloud locked, and I did put this in the rain, and it somehow still works besides the backlight being dead, and the digitizer and power button does not seem to work. Next up, we have the iPad 3. Okay, 64 gigabyte, black, works fully good with no issues. And then we have this, iPad, and then we have an iPad 4 here, 16 gigabyte, white. I had this since like 2022, and I've did like a bunch of stuff with it, but it still works and in good condition. And then we have an iPad Air 2, 128 gigabyte, sorry. 128 gigabyte iPad Air 2, space gray, works fully good with no issues. And yeah. This one here was from a lot. Wait, if I can remember, this one here was, I had it since like late 2022. This one I had it since last year. And this one, wait, this one was from this one was from a lot. And then this one here, I got it in a trade with my friend. And then this one, I got it from my friend like Christmas last year. No, wait, 2021, I think. I'm sorry, I forgot, but it was actually like 2021. It was actually like December 2021, actually. So for this, and then the Air 2, I used to use my iPad Air 2 as like a secondary main iPad when I had an iPad 6th gen, and yeah. All right, next we're off the device. Oh wait, I didn't expect the iPad to take this much space here. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next row. Okay, next up we have is an iPad mini 2, 16 gigabyte. Now this iPad here, as you can see, it's running iOS 8, which is actually very rare. It's running iOS 8.0, and it's actually very snappy and very fast, as you can see. Very nice. Next up, we have another iPad mini 2. This one's actually a Wi-Fi and cellular model, and it's running iOS 9.2 actually, if I remember. Yep, iOS 9.2. It works fully good with no issues, and yeah, very nice iPad. Next up, we have another iPad mini 2. Works fully good with no issues. Now this one's 32 gigabyte Wi-Fi only, and yeah, it works fully good with no issues. And then we have an iPad mini 4 here, 128 gigabyte gold. Works fully good with no issues. It's dead right now, as you can see. And then here's my newer iPads. We have an iPad 6th gen. Now, I actually did turn it on recently. Now this iPad here is very slow. Now this iPad here is very slow on iPadOS 17. I don't use it that much anymore because it's so slow on iPadOS 17. I feel like if you guys have an iPad 6 that's still on anything below iPadOS 16, I would recommend not updating it because it's so slow to use, actually. Wait, also another thing I want to show you guys is that if I load up a YouTube video on here, also the battery on here kind of drains fast. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this, but if I open up a random video like this. Wait. Oh, wait, what? It actually loaded. Okay. It's just earlier I was watching YouTube on this thing and it was being slow with everything, but I think for the main part it's still pretty slow with everything. The iPad 6 feels junk on iPadOS 17, and Apple should have not given iPadOS 17 on this iPad. And yeah, I think next up we have an iPad 9th gen, 256 gigabyte, space gray, works fully good with no issues. And last up, you have an iPad 10th gen, 256 gigabyte, blue. It works fully good with no issues, and yeah, so 128 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte, and yeah. Alright, lastly, my laptops, and I need to go through this quick since I have to go soon. So we have a MacBook Air 2015. So much wires and stuff on it. So here's a MacBook Air 2015, 11-inch. It works fully good with no issues. Actually, the trackpad on this thing does not seem to click anymore, but it works and stuff. I'm sorry if this video's gone a bit too long. And yeah, and next up we have a MacBook Air 2017, 13-inch. It works fully good. It's actually my main MacBook, and then we have a EVO PC laptop that I use for gaming and stuff, and that's all my laptops. Alright guys, so this is going to be it for this video here. Hope you guys like it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.